director of the Entrepreneurship Center Network and one of the founders of the Entrepreneurship Avenue. So Rudolf will talk a little bit about the Entrepreneurship Avenue event series and why it's so important, and really what are the key cornerstones of Entrepreneurship Avenue. So without further ado, a warm welcome and thank you to Rudolf.
Thank you for the kind introduction, James. So hello and welcome to the Entrepreneurship Avenue 2021. As James already mentioned, from the very start of Entrepreneurship Avenue in 2014, the mission of this program was to inspire, to encourage, and to support young people to follow an entrepreneurial path, be it by founding their own companies, be it by joining the entrepreneurship ecosystem, be it in the civil society. Basically follow your passion, follow your dreams. And as a kind of a warm-up to this year's Entrepreneurship Avenue, thank you for embarking on the journey. And as a warm-up, I would like to introduce you to two very important cornerstones of that program. So firstly, let's have a look at today's registration. So we are more than happy, excited and proud that more than 750 people registered for today's kickoff. You come from more than 125 different universities, and you represent 78 different nationalities. So Entrepreneurship Avenue provides you with an opportunity to experience entrepreneurship in a highly interdisciplinary setting. Sounds great? Yes, and trust me, it's rewarding. Every idea, every project will get better the more different perspectives and views are involved. However, in the beginning, it might be a little bit tricky to get started in such an interdisciplinary setting. And I would like to show you some quotes of what business people think about tech guys and what life sciences people think of tech guys and business guys, because we've been doing this cross-university entrepreneurship course in Vienna for quite some time. 3 universities are involved, and at the start of a semester we would ask the students, well, what do you think of your fellow students of the other universities and disciplines? And this is kind of like, I'm going to show you some highlights and to basically give you some kind of warm-up. So the first quote I'm going to show you, they are playful, they are curious, energetic, but slightly psychotic. So you may want to think about who thinks like this of which kind of university. And this is the view of students of the University of Life Sciences and Natural Resources about their fellow students from the Technical University. Analytical, good understanding of numbers. That's the way that business students see their colleagues at the Technical University. The next one may be a little bit hard. It says like there are 80% Arschkriecher who are forced to attend this university by society or even by their own parents to climb the career ladder in a corporate company. 20% of them are really interested in economics, and therefore they are going to attend an individual path. And that's the self-view of business students about their fellow students. Let's move on. Good looking, they know how to sell things, no one actually needs special skills in networking. So that's a view about business students. Weed smoking hippies appears to be a view of some tech students about students of natural resources, in love with nature, food and how they correlate. Another view on students of natural resources. And the last two to come, security oriented, too close into the Austrian bubble, too conservative, and searching where the next employer will be. So that's the view of tech students about themselves. And the last one is pretty simple. That's farmers, and that's the self-view of the students of natural resources about their colleagues. So it may be tricky it's in the beginning, but it's rewarding. And so I invite you to like embrace this journey with an entrepreneurial mind. So what is this term entrepreneurship? I brought with me 3 definitions for you that I personally pretty like. And if you screen through them, let's start with the middle with Peter Drucker. He says entrepreneurship means searching for change, responding to it, and exploiting it as an opportunity. So we see this magic word of opportunity. Howard Stevenson is building on this one. Entrepreneurship may be defined as the pursuit of opportunity without regard to resources currently controlled. So whenever you start something, more often than not, you will not know everything and have everything at hand that you need to make your ideas successful. But that's what entrepreneurs do. They find their network, they find their resources, and thus make their ideas and projects happen. So here are the two cornerstones of opportunities and entrepreneurship. So firstly, the competence and the capability of recognizing opportunities. And opportunities are like buses. They come around every minute. You can find opportunities in societal challenges, the SDGs, some unsolved problems, and the classic, there is a gap between existing technologies and market needs and what's wanted in the market. So that's the opportunity. And the next step for you as an entrepreneur is to roll up your sleeves and get down to work. So you find the right people, you build an organization, you find the resources, you find the money. So this is what we invite you to do, is to search for opportunities and get down to work. So, and this is you, and this is the second thing that entrepreneurship is about. It's about people. Because entrepreneurship can be understood as a state of mind of people who want to alter the future. So I would like to show you some typical motivating traits, hopefully, of entrepreneurs. So what makes an entrepreneur? Entrepreneurs do what they love. Little children, they experience a sentiment of total enthusiasm about 20 times a day. So this is what drives them. So for you as an entrepreneur, do what you love, because then you will be better in it. So firstly, entrepreneurs do what they love. Secondly, think like travelers, because the best ideas may be born in unusual places by combining former experiences. So try to combine knowledge and different skills and mindsets. Entrepreneurs are adaptive because many companies, as we know them, many successful companies, when they started with a different idea in mind, with a different product, with a different view of what their market, what their customers would be, but they adapted because they found out that they were not on the right track, so they adapted. And that's a very important skill and mindset of the entrepreneur, to be adaptive and responsive to feedback. And here you can see the logos of some companies. Some of them took part in the Entrepreneurship Avenue a few years ago, and they adopted their business models and eventually became even more successful. It also means entrepreneurs need to be persistent. In a sense, don't give up when you fall for the first time. So here's a quote from Mr. Thomas Alva Edison, who would say, "I've never failed, but I've invented 10,000 things that do not work." And even these failures would help him to become better next time. And last but not least, and this is why you are here, because entrepreneurs do. And you start somewhere and you start sometime, because every pro was once an amateur, every expert was once a beginner. So dream big and start now. So I invite you to join us on this journey. Get started. You may fail, but never mind. You just go to repeat and succeed. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the Entrepreneurship Avenue Journey 2021.
For that super insightful presentation. I know that I can resonate with a lot of what Rudolf had to say tonight about entrepreneurship. It really is a journey, and there are so many steps, and it's all about failing and getting up again, and making the best of each failure and learning along the way. So I want to take this time to now tell you guys a little bit more about what exactly the agenda is going to be for tonight, as well as the rest of the Entrepreneurship Avenue event series. So tonight is the kickoff, as you know, and the whole idea of tonight is to bring awareness to this event, right? So that you guys understand that this is an incredible opportunity for people who come from a variety of different disciplines. I really want to say this again, that Entrepreneurship Avenue is not just designed only for business students, but for all types of students from a variety of different backgrounds. At the end of the day, businesses don't just need business people. right? They need people with skills from a bunch of different places. So the point of Entrepreneurship Avenue is to introduce you guys to the entrepreneurial scene and show you that entrepreneurship can be a career for anyone from any kind of background. So what is the agenda tonight? We're gonna start in a moment with a keynote speaker who is Epiclay. Now, these are the guys who won Entrepreneurship Avenue last year. So you guys can actually see that real businesses come from this. Now, this is a startup that develops live green walls for the building facades, so the outside parts of buildings, and the indoor area. So bringing life to things that don't usually have so much life going on. So we're gonna hear from the CEO, Christoph, and the COO, Melanie. Now, they're gonna be talking to us about why your team matters more than your idea. After that, we're gonna have the UNIpreneurship Showcase. Now, this is where you're gonna have a chance to get to know a whole bunch of startups that have emerged from a diverse academic background, right? So from a whole bunch of different Austrian universities. You will be able to enter into a whole bunch of different rooms that we will provide you guys access to, and you will be able to talk to them and get to know them live, right? With your video, with your voice, or via chat. And you can ask them questions and learn more about them. And this is to show you guys that students can really be entrepreneurs, because there are a whole bunch of them who are. After that, we're going to have a fireside chat with Brix, who's the COO of Kaleido AI. And that's going to be moderated by Rudolf, whom you met just now. Now, I'm super excited to hear about this because Kaleido AI is one of the leading companies in the world when it comes to visual AI, right? They've got tools like remove.bg and unscreen.com, and these guys have helped more than 20 million users every month to accelerate and improve their video and photo editing workflows. So this is a big, big company. And you can even tell this more by the fact that they recently sold to Canva.com, the Australian design giant, in one of the largest deals in Austrian startup history. So super amped to hear about them later on tonight. But now I want to tell you guys more about the Entrepreneurship Avenue event series. So what happens after tonight? All right. So the real magic, I mean, tonight's going to be great, but the real magic goes down during our labs. So we start with lab 1, which is about idea presentation. This goes down a week from today. Now this lab is super important. Like, a really big shout out to everyone who wants to get involved. You've got to show up to this lab if you want to participate in this competition. Now at this event, we expect 2 types of people to show up. One, we've got our idea authors or original founders. Now, these are people with an original idea who are looking for a team to help make that idea a reality. So if you've had an idea that you've been thinking about for a long time, but you weren't really quite sure how to bring it to market, how to monetize it, how to make it happen, maybe you didn't have the engineering skills or whatever is needed, this is your opportunity to present that idea and have other people from a variety of different disciplines see it and come to you and say, hey, I want to get involved. And that's the other kind of person that we also need to show up. We need the potential co-founders. These are people who don't necessarily have an original idea of their own, but they have skills. And more importantly, they have a fire inside them. They have a keenness to get involved in entrepreneurship, right? They want to put their skills to work. They want to do something. They just don't necessarily have the idea themselves. And they are going to match with someone who does have an idea. So again, a big reminder, you don't have to be any type of student. You don't have to be a business student. You don't have to be another kind of student, right? If you've had an idea or if you've wanted to get involved in entrepreneurship at any time in your life, this is the event that you need to be at. That is Lab 1. The way it's going to work is that at this event, the authors are going to present their ideas via videos that they're going to submit to us in advance. After all these videos have been displayed, idea authors will put into project rooms, similar to the way we're going to do the UNIpreneurship Showcase tonight. And in those project rooms, right, the potential co-founders are going to be able to go and talk to these idea founders, right, these original idea authors, and they're going to be able to learn more about the idea and see if they resonate with them and see if they feel like this is a match and if they want to exchange contact details for further discussions to see if they can form a team, right? Because then over the 3 days after that, the participants will independently meet up with one another online, of course, right, in order to finalize their team, which they will have to submit after that. Now, there's also going to be a networking part of the, after that networking part of the event, we're also going to have a keynote speaker who's going to talk to you about all the different kinds of business tools and frameworks that are really important for early stage entrepreneurs. And there's going to be a presentation to you guys about what Entrepreneurship Avenue will provide you with in terms of online tools that you can use for business modeling, costing, and so on and so forth. So just a big reminder that there will be more information about this sent to those who have registered by email, and it's all available on our website. So a big call to action here, guys. If you want to get involved, you need to sign up for Lab 1. Now, Lab 2, which is going to occur on May 11th, so quite a bit after Lab 1, is going to be the mentoring lab. This is where teams are going to get a chance to chat to industry experts about their ideas. Now, each team is going to get matched with 1 or 2 mentors who they're going to be able to, think critically through their idea with and get really high quality feedback that they can then use to shape their idea. After the mentoring, participants will get an introduction on how to best pitch the idea, right? So just a nice little intro on the fundamentals of pitching. And this is going to be really important because after the mentoring lab, teams are going to have to put together a rough draft of their pitch, which they'll bring to the next lab, and that's Lab 3. That is pitch training on May 25th. Now, we're going to start that lab off with a little keynote speaker by Daniel Cronin, and that's going to be about how to best pitch your idea. So you're going to learn even more about pitching. Then, using those valuable insights, teams will actually review their pitch with professional pitch trainers who will tell them, where do they see problems with their pitch and how do they think they could improve. Then the teams will have a 20 to 30 minute working session where they'll be able to further improve their pitch. And then they get to pitch it again to a pitch trainer who can then tell them if they've seen improvements and where they think they can focus on moving forward, right? So once, you've worked through the mentoring lab and you've worked through the pitch lab, it's now time to really work on that pitch. And the teams are going to spend time together afterwards, making sure that pitch is perfect, because it then takes us to our final event, which is Pitch Day, the grand finale. Now that's like an all-day event that's going to go down on the 1st of June. All teams will pitch to a jury who will then select the top 10 to move on to the next round. Then we're going to have some really awesome keynote speakers, which we will announce to you later down the line. There's also going to be a startup fair, and that's going to be able, for anyone who attends this event, not just the participants themselves, but anyone who attends the event is going to be able to get involved in the startup fair. And this is basically a networking event with really established startups from the Austrian ecosystem. So you can actually get to know them, exchange details, and learn more, and maybe even find opportunities for yourself. Then, right, the grand finale must end with the grand finale. And that is when the top 10 teams will pitch their top pitch to an expert jury who will then choose the winner of this competition. And of course, guys, there's a cash prize for those winners that they can then take and use to make their business idea a reality. But I want to remind you guys, it is not all about winning, right? Winning is great. Making it to the final is great. But guys, this is an incredible opportunity. I mean, just pitch day itself, there are going to be so many people there who are going to be, we're talking about investors, business people, other entrepreneurs, other potential entrepreneurs who might want to get involved with you. So this is an awesome opportunity to really put yourself out there, really, and get yourself out into the ecosystem, and also just challenge yourself and learn along the way. So guys, that's the roadmap. Kickoff today, Lab 1, Lab 2, Lab 3, and finishing off with our final pitch day. It's really excited, and we're super stoked for what's coming up ahead of us. Now that we've covered the roadmap, I am super excited to introduce you guys to our first keynote speakers. Now, this is when we're going to be talking to Epiclay, and they are going to be represented by Christoph, the CEO of the company, and Melanie, the COO. Again, this is the team that won Entrepreneurship Avenue last year and have actually turned their idea into a viable business. So as I told you guys before, they work on green walls for building facades and indoor areas. And they're going to be talking about how they managed to build a really strong team from a variety of different disciplines. That's also quite an international team. And then how they went on to raise the funds that they needed to get their business off the ground. So without further ado, a warm welcome to Christoph and Melanie. Thank you guys. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Super happy to be here. Melanie and I are representing Epiclay just as a part of the team today, actually. But we will come back to that later. So today we want to give you a very brief overview of what we are doing, tell you a bit about our founding story, also, of course, in line with the Entrepreneurship Avenue, and then give you some of the advice we have gained so far along the road. So we started with two mega trends, which means that we looked into, on one hand, of course, air pollution, which, as we all know, is one of the biggest challenges of our time. And we read those dramatic numbers every week. And on the other hand, urbanization. Actually, more than half of the population worldwide already lives in cities, which means that a lot of pollution comes on a very dense and limited space. And that's something we don't want to see and something we want to change. So cities can take a lot of different measurements and actions in order to decrease air pollution, may it be to invest into public transport, e-mobility, but one of the most efficient ways to reduce air pollution remains greening cities, because it does not only reduce air pollutants, but also, for example, urban heat, and therefore increases the biodiversity. So the only issue is that you can't just build or plant millions of trees in a city like Vienna or basically any other metropole because of the limited space. In fact, so we ask ourselves, but what if we could actually manage to make breathing in the city as pleasant as in the forest? Because currently we only have 500,000 trees in the city of Vienna, which is already a very high number in the international ranking, but still, of course, not enough to prevent the global climate crisis. At the same time, we have 120 million square meters of greenable facades in Vienna alone, which means that there is a huge infrastructure which is currently just standing around, not being used, which could be used in order to reduce air pollution. So we made it to our mission to envelope buildings with green lungs and therefore use this vertical space in order to green our cities. We want to achieve this by combining the most robust plants found in nature with our innovative platform technology, the Epiclay modules, which are recyclable, therefore 100% circular economy compliant and based on a natural product, meaning that we here effectively reduce air pollution with a very low maintenance and low cost system. So, Melanie, how did our founding story start?
All right, Christoph, thank you very much. By now, you should have a very good sense of what Epiclay is and why our solution is required. But let's dive a bit deeper into our founding history. If you give me the clicky thing, thank you. So the building on this picture should be recognized by most of you, I suppose. It's, of course, the WU, the Vienna University of Economics and Business. I almost forgot that, though that's the university where Chris and I are finishing our masters, though I might say in slightly different disciplines. So how did our paths cross? It's not that crazy story, but a good one nevertheless. It was at the BUILDS program. And I mean, it's spelled out already pretty nicely what the aim is. So it was intended to further transdisciplinary work, nature-based solutions, sustainable solutions in the urban context. So 3 universities, besides amazing company partners and advisors, participated in that. And the 2 of us were chosen as one of 10 students to participate, alongside with students from Nancy, the agronomist, the biologist, and then we had amazing architects from IAC, from Barcelona. And we were lucky enough to be already guided by the university by workshops before our kickoff event in Barcelona in January 2020. So yes, we were lucky to be present in a different place, which was nice. And already on the second day, we founded our team, basically. So this was also an interesting concept, and maybe also like you will find somebody, you know, in the Entrepreneurship Avenue. And we also didn't know each other, although a lot of like joking went into one of the workshops beforehand too. And yeah, so the team formation was centered around like the ideas you want to work on, although it also had a little bit of like, like who we want to work with. So I think that's also very important. You know, it's like you have to be passionate about your ideas, but I guess you also have to click with the people. And so yeah, we founded our team. We had two great ideas, but we wanted to do something with facade, greening, urban, and yeah, within a couple of days after intense workshops, we came so far, and yeah, so we got them back to our hometowns, and then you know, semester started, internship started, a little something like Corona started too. And although we were used to remote working before it was cool, and I'm sorry, Chris, I will never stop doing that joke, though putting you through that for the 100th time. And yeah, so it was challenging for us, you know, to keep the spirits up, but also great credit to Chris, you know, who really pushed us and kept up the drive of this project, because we knew that we were onto something great. And we also learned like the value of really like transdisciplinary work. Yeah, not thinking too much within the box. So yeah, long story short, transdisciplinary teams are awesome. What else is awesome is, yeah, not having a company that looks like these fellow gentlemen, like the like the board of an SAP 500 from the 70s. And yeah, so we're not only a transdisciplinary team, as we've been introduced, we're also a very international team. And we really see how having different backgrounds, different experiences can really enrich a team. And I would also say we're like more than the sum of each individual contribution. And I think it's also a great takeaway, like for you, when you're further down the line, you will have your company. Don't just hire always the same people. Don't hire people who look like you, even beyond those superficial features that shouldn't matter. You know, I can be sometimes very impulsive and like just like a little bit too quick, and you know, you can have it. So it's great to have like people who are maybe a bit more considerate, think before they talk, and who are organized and chaotic. So it's always nice, you know, to play off each other and not to have like 5 extroverted smart asses in your team. You know, you have to like benefit from each other experience. And yeah, so here you can see how far we are really spread across the globe, going from North America to Europe to Southeast Asia. Chris and I are born in Austria, but we have Eastern European roots. So yeah, that, like I said, that gives us a lot of insights and like, yeah, great learnings. And yeah, I was talking so much about this amazing team, so let me introduce it to you in more detail. But before that, I give back to Chris for a second, and he will talk about the great roles of a CEO within Epiclay.
Yeah, just to give you a bit of an overview, what does it actually mean? What are the main tasks that I'm constantly working on at Epiclay? And to boil it down, next to, of course, a lot of daily business, which you also have to do. You're not only looking into strategic tasks. It probably goes down to 3 main tasks, which is on one hand, keeping vision, mission, and strategy in line, make sure everyone works towards the same goals, which seems to be easy, but not that easy actually. And it's especially if you have such a diverse team, it's clear that some differences in previous experiences and goals are along that line. So it's very important to make it very explicit and to discuss that in a group. Second one, of course, being funding. I try to make sure that we don't run out of money, which also is, of course, something very crucial, especially to startups that are probably not from the very beginning on profitable and have to reinvest a lot of money. And lastly, hiring, as it's very important to also hire in line with your goals. It's what we have seen. It's also very important to sometimes hire people that are more qualified or have more experience than you yourself have. But that's something that really helps you to grow into the next steps out of this phase of starting up towards actually executing in form of a company. But more about the role and tasks of a COO. Back to Melanie.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, so in Epiclay as a CEO, my tasks boil down to like the organization of our various partners. Given that we have like a physical product in the construction realm, I organize like construction, botanical, and transportation. And yeah, besides like being like a sparring partner and business development, I, for instance, also organized like a research project with BOKU and TU, keeping up the transdisciplinary aspect, and yeah, and now I have the great pleasure of like introducing our fellow team members. We have next Camille, who's an amazing content creator and photographer, who's also really has like the vision of Epiclay in mind, and she can transport that in visuals and branding and so forth. She has also a lot of experience in the sustainable field, in the startup field. And I remember like when Chris and I, even like a year ago, we were always so proud of our slides and oh my God, they're so pretty. And now looking back, like, oof. And now we can be like, Camille, can you please make them pretty? And she does, and she really elevated us, to be more professional. And then we have Mary Eve, who's our amazing biologist. She has like a very strong research background, and that's exactly the same, the thing I was talking before. You can't have just always people like pushing and selling and going and having somebody who's like, okay, guys, does this really work also from a scientific point of view? And she has been also part of a lot of great projects, and so she's also responsible for adapting the plants, researching all the hard facts about it, and then we can really individually design our green walls. And then next we have Mauricio. He has worked in a lot of great studios, architecture studios around the world. He's been working on a super interesting thesis where he analyzes the various patterns of Maya architecture, and he has been integral in the design of Epiclay, of like really pushing and bringing this like ancient tradition into like a modern shape. And alongside with Sumit, who has also like hands-on experience in really going through like architecture projects from the beginning to the end. And he's been also responsible for the design, but also production. And as you can imagine, in the beginning with no funding, there was like a lot of prototyping like done in living rooms and so forth. And the guys in Barcelona, they have been really blood, sweat, and tears of like really stamping out the first prototypes out of nothing, basically. And yeah, so maybe some insights, some learnings we gathered throughout the journey. What really helped us was to always have like advisors on our side. In the beginning, obviously more informally, more loosely. Now we formalized that more, but you would be surprised how willing people are to help and offer their time, and like don't be shy to reach out, but also appeal to their intelligence. Don't just be like, can you help me please, but be like, have like concrete questions. Maybe also like add some dates, on Wednesday from this to then I have time, on Thursday this would one of those 2 dates suit you, I would like to have a chat about this, we can do it via Zoom, whatever, be concrete, like really like, because these people, these experts, sometimes they have like huge networks and huge experience to really have like exact questions. And like you said, we know from from the business side, from the scientific side, from governmental side. We had so much support, and that was really, really essential for us. As a young company, you only know so much. And this what Chris already touched on. This is really not to be underestimated. And like vision and mission sometimes get mixed up a bit, but vision is about where do you want to have your company, and mission is how you're gonna get there, like what's like the daily business of your company. And it's like better to have these things sorted out earlier than later. You may not ask on the first date of like, oh, what's your vision for this relationship? But I think in terms of like business, it actually makes sense. And it's also, you can say like, oh, we want to have like a sustainable company, but what does sustainability mean for you? It can be from an ecological point of view, from a social point of view, and how you're gonna really, what type of steps you're gonna take to achieve that. And think ahead, although obviously there are a lot of like uncertainty factors, but it's really necessary to have these things sorted out. And by values, obviously what values you have as a company, and it can be tiny things, it can be bigger things, but I would like, I don't know, we're not gonna serve meat in our canteen, or we have Friday afternoon off. But it can be also like small things on a personal level, like how is punctuality appreciated? How is like reliability? Do we have Sundays off, or is like 24/7? It's like the small things, and I think this is really, really necessary to have in aligned, or even just like talk about it. Can maybe differ from person to person, but talk about it in a team. I think this is very crucial. Yeah, network with other founders. Similar to like when reaching out to advisors, don't be shy, first of all. But here we also had the feeling, that the more you talk about the idea, you really have to know it like inside out. You be able to convey the idea in 30 seconds, in 2 minutes, in half an hour, and like just by listening to other founders, ask questions, learn from their mistake, be inspired. But like I said, also the sparing aspect of it, and just like, and then they have like great questions that you never thought about, and and then you get like, okay, and like every conversation sharpens your business idea, and this is the same as with like vision and mission and so forth. You maybe start big, but you have to really, really break it down. And like network, of course, then opportunities stem from it too, but that shouldn't be your first like. I think, okay, how can this person benefit me then further down the line in terms of like monetary sense? No, just like be open and learn from each other. And and this is our amazing first like mock-up. And we were already forced in Barcelona, the emphasis on forced, to go around with this thing and conduct customer interviews. And same as before, the more you talk about it, the more important it is. But generally, not only evaluate with customer ideas, I think having like mock-ups, having like prototypes is so important. We have that experience again and again. People really enjoy like just like having something visualized. Obviously, you should be able to like convey your idea with words, but having something to touch and to feel is super important, and be it like a little tortilla mock-up. And I think I rambled on for quite a time, and give back to Chris.
Thank you, Melanie. So next to validating with customer interviews, which of course you should always do, is another way to validate on your idea is to participate in different event formats, in different competitions, in startup pitches. And actually, besides builds, which is kind of where the idea was born, our first one was actually the Entrepreneurship Avenue, which we went through, which we are still going through different incubation programs like INITS currently. And it really just helps you to As also Melanie said, to sharpen your idea, to really look into different aspects. Everyone has different questions, every jury member, every mentor, and that really helps. And I'm coming to my last point. Without trying to sound too cheesy, it's important to dream big, because you know what they say, the Americans will always give you 10 reasons why your idea will work, but the Europeans will give you 10 reasons why it won't work. So don't get yourself discouraged, and then act according to that big dream and just execute it, and you will achieve great. And to come to the last point, feel free to get in touch with us. You can book a short meeting with us on calendly.com/Epiclay if you have a question that you don't want to raise now, or just something that gets into your mind over the next days, or just shoot us a short message on LinkedIn or via mail. And thank you so much for having us.
Great, thank you guys so much for that really insightful, little microscopic look into your business. It's super exciting to hear about how you guys managed to put this all together. So we have a few questions that we've been receiving from our audience that we're going to put across to you guys. Just to the audience out there, so the Q&A function is still working. We are receiving your questions, but they are not showing up in the Q&A, so you can't actually see that your questions have gone through, but we want you guys to know that we're receiving your questions. And guys, please make use of the Q&A function. When there's a speaker, you can see a little question mark in the bottom right of the screen. Click on that and you can submit your questions, and we're gonna work on fixing those along the way. So one of the first questions that someone from our audience asked was, what was the biggest hurdle that you guys, the biggest challenge that you guys had to deal with when it came to funding? Right? So when it came to funding specifically, what do you think was the hardest part of the whole process?
I guess, as previously said, that goes into my task list. So I would say the biggest challenge, or the most important thing, is to not underestimate preparation. It's basically as if you would go into a competition or a sports competition. You can't start exercising during the competition. You have to do that before, and that's something that we really emphasized, and that's why we took a long preparation time before we went into our first funding round, actually.
Awesome. Really insightful. I mean, I always like to tell people it's 5 P's of life. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. So that's really, really useful advice to everyone. I think another really interesting question that we got from the audience is, how exactly did you guys go about recruiting this team of yours? So how did you find all these people? I know you guys said that you sometimes want to go outside of your network. You want to find people from the best people from different places. So what exactly did you do to find them?
That's a very good question, and I wish it was more like an organized way that we went about it, but generally like over network from you, Chris, especially, and also like people along the way we met and networked, and like it was more like an organic story than like a structured approach, I would say.
Yeah, I guess like a lot also comes from competitions like these, like the Entrepreneurship Avenue. I mean, the founding team in itself came from the Builds program, which also was a competition with the emphasis on getting interdisciplinary teams. So very much like the Avenue itself. So I think that's a great format and starting point for that.
Cool. I mean, I like that. So put yourself out there, and organically things are just going to happen as you go along the way. So just a couple more questions. I think this one's really interesting. How was founding a business during COVID? So you guys, the Entrepreneurship Avenue, I think it started offline, if I remember, and then it went online. So clearly this whole business started during the pandemic. How was that experience, and how did you deal with that?
So since we were anyway spread across Spain, France, and Austria, we already went through this remote working a few weeks or months before COVID started. So that was something we, to some extent, got used to before already. But of course, it's difficult, especially when everyone heads home to India, Mexico in our case, and then dealing with time zones and having like, I don't know, 2 hours where everyone is awake and where you have to put all those meetings into, it's of course pretty difficult, but yeah.
It was also like getting used to re-evaluating our timelines a lot, not be discouraged when things didn't work out. I mean, this is general, always good advice, you know. But in this pandemic, everything slowed down. People were in home office. Productions weren't on full capacity. You couldn't attend meetings, and obviously it's like great. We can do a lot via phone, a lot via Zoom, but there is also something to like in-person meetings. So I would say, obviously, it made it more challenging, but I mean, not compared to like what other people have to go through. I think we were still like very lucky in that sense, and yeah, we just pushed through it, and hopefully we'll get better.
So a modern team handling a modern situation, clearly. I think we're running about out of time here, but I'm going to combine two of the questions that we got. So one of the questions was quite specific. Do you have a 2-year goal for like square meters of facade? And then I'm going to combine that with just generally, what does your 5-year goal outlook look like for the company?
That's a very good and very specific question. 2 years. In 2 years, we want to stand at 50,000 square meters. And 5 years is less specific in terms of square meter size, but more specific in terms of we want to bring our solution to at least 5 markets in order to have a global solution for a global problem. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you guys so much for those insights. It was really a pleasure learning about it more about your business. And I know I'm excited to go online later and learn more about it. So yeah, thank you to Epiclay for that. Wonderful talk. We really appreciate it. So guys, now it's time for us to start the UNIpreneurship Showcase. We're really, really happy to have 23 great startups joining us today. Now, all of these startups, and I really want to focus in on this, all of these startups have emerged from academic backgrounds, which proves that you can successfully start and run your own business while you are studying at university. So these guys are here today to chat to you about their businesses, their experience, and generally what it's like starting a business as a student. Now, you will actually have the opportunity to talk to these guys, right? You can enter into these rooms with your mic and video on if you want to. Otherwise, you can just use the chat room, and you can chat to them about their businesses and learn more about how they got off the ground while they were studying at the same time, and what were the challenges that they had, and how did they overcome those. So you can also chat about your own ideas, right? So if you're here because you want to enter the competition, right, you can actually chat about your ideas to them, put it out there, see what they think, and you can exchange your contact details. There's actually a function for that where you can leave your contact details. You'll see that. So especially if you're not so tech savvy, I want you to pay attention. I want you to listen to me now. I'm going to explain how this is going to work. In a second, we're going to be playing all of the 30-second videos for all of these startups. So each startup has prepared a 30-second video that explains what exactly they do. Then, for 45 minutes, we invite you guys to go into our digital exhibition area where we have different startup booths. So if you right now exit the full screen mode, if you've got me on full screen, I want you to exit the full screen mode, and I want you to scroll down. And you're going to see multiple online rooms where the startup founders are actually waiting for you right now. They're all sitting in those rooms, and they're really excited to chat to you guys. So in those rooms, you can click, and you can feel free to enter whatever room you want, to wander around and get to know the different startups. Before you enter a specific room, you also have the opportunity to re-watch the video with regards to that startup, so that you can refresh your mind and understand what the business is about before you go into the room, so you can ask specific questions if you want to. If you guys have any technical problems along the way, if it seems like a room's not open or anything, refresh the page. I will repeat, refresh the page. We've had a few lagging problems tonight. We are aware of it, guys. We're working on improving it, but we do suggest just at times that you refresh the page. It often does solve the problem, right? If that doesn't help, you can use the chat button at the bottom of your page, and our support team will get right on it and try and help you guys out. So we're going to be going offline now, and we're going to start these, we're going to press play on these startup videos in a second so that you can get to know what the different startups in the showcase are. We're really excited, guys. So go ahead, you guys get excited, get inspired, get chatting, and I'll see you guys back here in 45 minutes time. Enjoy it.
Subways help reduce CO2 emissions considerably, and yet the air quality in the stations often is many times worse than in road traffic. This is why we thought we want to change the world with Moss.
For our pilot project with the Viennese Metro, we designed a prototype Moss panel that will help to filter indoor air pollution. Green and sustainable.
At AeroSquare, we are convinced that together we can shape urban living spaces in a sustainable way.
Hello, my name is Bernhard Lehlenbacher and I'm the founder of Park Insulation. We develop products made out of the renewable raw material tree bark. And our newest product is a sustainable cooling box. So see you, bye bye.
Hi, I'm Christian Hill and I'm a biophysicist. Together with Gerhard Proslinger and a cool team, we founded Brave Analytics, a spin-off from the Medical University of Graz. Brave Analytics is a deep tech startup using biophotonics and microfluidics with the goal to produce nanoparticle sensors operating continuously and in real time. And there it is, our B1 Brave sensor. If you want to know more about our adventures, stay tuned. We're looking forward to talking to you. Cheers!
Hi, my name is Eric Weiss and I am an IMC alumni. I already founded 2 startups. My first one in 2017, which was sold at the end of 2020. And now I'm on my newest mission with Circling. And with Circling, we are developing AI solutions for FMCG retailers and logistic companies. So if you want to know more about my journey or my companies, feel free to hop in my breakout session. See you there.
Hi, my name is Christoph and I'm one of the founders of the startup EET. And we here at EET, we sell photovoltaic solutions with and without storage via our own online shop. We are absolutely convinced that e-commerce is the future, urbanization is the future, and how we are tackling these trends, these innovations for the next 10 years will be part of my presentation during the next event. Looking forward to see you.
Hello everybody, I'm Guido Gualdoni, CEO and co-founder of GST Antivirals, a spin-off company of the Medical University of Vienna, founded in 2019. We're dedicated to the treatment of viral infections and are currently located at the Vienna Biocenter. Founding a startup company was challenging on so many levels to me, and I'm very excited to share my experience with the next generation of founders here at the Entrepreneurship Avenue.
Hi, my name is Philip. I'm the co-founder of HelpSoul, and HelpSoul is a smart shoe inlay that detects gait disorders with several sensors and artificial intelligence, and due to tactile stimulation, we are helping patients to overcome gait disorders. I would love to get to know you. Please just visit us in our rooms. See you there.
Hi guys, I'm very happy to meet you at this year's Avenue, and I represent CaringTech. So we are a company which upcycles stone fruit pits from apricot or plums and transform them through our technology to high quality products. These could be in the non-dairy sector, in chocolate creams, or in new healthy fats for oil and cosmetic. So the raw material is a new innovation in the food and beverage industry. I hope to see you there.
Live in Farms finds atypical solutions for typical problems like food waste and unsustainable protein production. We incorporate the knowledge of engineers, entomologists, biologists, and sustainable development, combining the power of insects and ingenious technology to turn low-value material into high-quality proteins, fats, and fertilizers. Live in Farms is feeding the world while saving the planet. Today, not tomorrow.
Hello together. My name is Christian. I graduated with a bachelor's degree from FH Steyr in 2013, and I'm CEO and co-founder of Maptivity. In May 2020, my partner Harald and I founded Maptivity. Maptivity is a platform for leisure activities and is designed to enable users to organize their free time quick, easy, and customized. In April 2021, we will launch the redesigned website, including new functions and data. I'm really looking forward to interesting conversations and many questions from your side at the Kickoff event. Have a nice day.
Hi everyone, I'm Kwang, Product Manager at Mathmania. With the Mathmania app, we bridge the gap between real-life jobs and school math. A three-headed team creates exercises with real companies who use math in their daily life. We enable them to present themselves as employers, so students can find a dream job and learn for the math exams at the same time. Currently, we are developing our MVP and are also looking for industry partners who are interested in presenting themselves within the Mathmania app. My colleague Alex and I are looking forward to talking to you.
Hi, my name is Nicholas, and together with Barbara I founded Mybioma. We analyze the genetic information of the gut bacteria to detect diseases early on and improve the success rate of medical therapies. Last year we got ISO certified and are the first company now in the microbiome field allowed to produce medical diagnostics. If you want to find out more about how bacteria influence our health and the technical and regulatory challenges we had to overcome, feel free to join our breakout session.
Welcome to the Entrepreneurship Avenue. My name is Mark Dürkop. I'm co-founder and CEO of Novasan GmbH. We're a young spin-off from Book University, focusing on to speed up bioprocess development. That means we're supporting biopharmaceutical customers to faster set up their processes to bring life-saving drugs, such as, for example, the COVID-19 vaccines, to the market. If you're interested to learn more about our story, I'd be happy to welcome you in the breakout session. Enjoy your trip on the Avenue and see you later.
Did you know 1 in 2 people will suffer from knee arthritis? That's why we founded Pregenerate, and here's how we can help.
Hello, my name is Lisa. I'm co-founder of Prewave. At Prewave, we develop a technology that detects and predicts risks in supply chains using machine learning based on social media and news data in more than 50 languages. We are a spin-off of the Technical University in Vienna, and we are coming out of the TU Wien Innovation Incubation Center.
Hi, we're Julia and Manuel from Probando. Did you know 9 out of 10 studies fail to meet their recruitment goals due to the lack of participants? That is why we have developed Probando, the platform where every researcher can offer studies, product tests, and surveys to everyone. Through our service, we help society and provide a social value. We're convinced that many people want to participate in studies. Through us, they get an exclusive access, can significantly improve the life situation, and even earn some extra money. We are Probando, the home for studies.
Hi, my name is Evelyn Haslinger. I'm COO and co-founder of the software testing startup Simflower. At Simflower, we teach algorithms how to read and understand program code. Moreover, we teach them how to do software testing to find mistakes such as program crashes and security issues on their own. As a result, you can enjoy bug-free software in your everyday life. I'm really looking forward to meeting you at Entrepreneurship Avenue.
Hi, my name is Tibor and I'm the founder and CEO of Tremitas GmbH. 10 years ago, I had the idea to invent a smart pen to track tremors of patients with tremor diseases. Now, Tremitas GmbH is an internationally operating medical device company. If you want to know more about startups in the healthcare sector and how it all started at the Carinthia University of Applied Sciences, then I'm looking forward to chatting with you in the breakout rooms.
We are going to change the clothing industry by giving consumers what they want. Endless fashion variety. For a little money. Without environmental consequences. So, how can you become part of the fashion revolution? Upload your unused clothes to your virtual wardrobe. Ready to go. Simply swipe left if you don't like an item and right if you like it. A mutual like creates a fit, and you can arrange the swap in the chat.
Hi, I am Melanie and one of the two founders of Vinotaria. Our business idea: we offer great wine from different wineries across the country in quarter bottles. And why? Because we think there are many moments when 2 glasses of a good wine is the perfect amount. You want to learn more about us? I'm glad to meet you later in our room. Cheers!
Subways help reduce CO2 emissions considerably, and yet the air quality in the stations often is many times worse than in road traffic. This is why we thought we want to change the world with Moss.
For our pilot project with the Viennese Metro, we designed a prototype Moss panel that will help to filter indoor air pollution. Green and sustainable.
At AeroSquare, we are convinced that together we can shape urban living spaces in a sustainable way.
Hello, my name is Bernhard Lehlenbacher and I'm the founder of Park Insulation. We develop products made out of the renewable raw material tree bark. And our newest product is a sustainable cooling box. So, see you. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Christian Hill and I'm a biophysicist. Together with Gerhard Proslinger and a cool team, we founded Brave Analytics, a spin-off from the Medical University of Graz. Brave Analytics is a deep tech startup using biophotonics and microfluidics with the goal to produce nanoparticle sensors operating continuously and in real time. And there it is, our B1 Brave sensor. If you want to know more about our adventures, stay tuned. We're looking forward to talking to you. Cheers!
Hi, my name is Eric Weiss and I am an IMC alumni. I already founded 2 startups. My first one in 2017, which was sold at the end of 2020. And now I'm on my newest mission with Circly. And with Circly, we are developing AI solutions for FMCG retailers and logistic companies. So if you want to know more about my journey or my companies, feel free to hop in my breakout session. See you there.
Hi, my name is Christoph and I'm one of the founders of the startup EET. And we here at EET, we sell photovoltaic solutions with and without storage via our own online shop. We are absolutely convinced that e-commerce is the future, urbanization is the future, and how we are tackling these trends, these innovations for the next 10 years will be part of my presentation during the next event. Looking forward to see you.
Hello everybody, I'm Guido Gualdoni, CEO and co-founder of GST Antivirals, a spin-off company of the Medical University of Vienna, founded in 2019. We're dedicated to the treatment of viral infections and are currently located at the Vienna Biocenter. Founding a startup company was challenging on so many levels to me, and I'm very excited to share my experience with the next generation of founders here at the Entrepreneurship Avenue.
Hi, my name is Philip. I'm the co-founder of HelpSole, and HelpSole is a smart shoe inlay that detects gait disorders with several sensors and artificial intelligence, and due to tactile stimulation, we are helping patients to overcome gait disorders. I would love to get to know you. Please just visit us in our rooms. See you there.
Hi guys, I'm very happy to meet you at this year's Avenue, and I represent Tech. So we are a company which upcycles stone fruit pits from apricot or plums and transform them through our technology to high quality products. These could be in the non-dairy sector, in chocolate creams, or in new healthy fats for oil and cosmetic. So the raw material is a new innovation in the food and beverage industry. I hope to see you there.
Living Farms finds atypical solutions for typical problems, like food waste and unsustainable protein production. We incorporate the knowledge of engineers, entomologists, biologists, and sustainable development, combining the power of insects and ingenious technology to turn low-value material into high-quality proteins, fats, and fertilizers. Living Farms is feeding the world while saving the planet. Today, not tomorrow.
Hello together. My name is Christian. I graduated with a bachelor's degree from FH Steyr in 2013, and I'm CEO and co-founder of Maptivity. In May 2020, my partner Harald and I founded Maptivity. Maptivity is a platform for leisure activities and is designed to enable users to organize their free time quick, easy, and customized. In April 2021, we will launch the redesigned website, including new functions and data. I'm really looking forward to interesting conversations and many questions from your side at the Kickoff event. Have a nice day.
Hi everyone, I'm Kwang, Product Manager at Mathmania. With the Mathmania app, we bridge the gap between real-life jobs and school math. A three-headed team creates exercises with real companies who use math in their daily life. We enable them to present themselves as employers, so students can find a dream job and learn for the math exams at the same time. Currently, we are developing our MVP and are also looking for industry partners who are interested in presenting themselves within the Mathmania app. My colleague Alex and I are looking forward to talking to you.
Hi, my name is Nicholas, and together with Barbara I founded Mybioma. We analyze the genetic information of the gut bacteria to detect diseases early on and improve the success rate of medical therapies. Last year, we got ISO certified and are the first company now in the microbiome field allowed to produce medical diagnostics. If you want to find out more about how bacteria influence our health and the technical and regulatory challenges we had to overcome, feel free to join our breakout session.
Welcome to the Entrepreneurship Avenue. My name is Jakob. I'm co-founder and CEO of Novasan GmbH. We're a young spin-off from Book University, focusing on to speed up bioprocess development. That means we're supporting biopharmaceutical customers to faster set up their processes to bring life-saving drugs, such as, for example, the COVID-19 vaccines, to the market. If you're interested to learn more about our story, I'd be happy to welcome you in the breakout session. Enjoy your trip on the Avenue, and see you later.
Did you know 1 in 2 people will suffer from knee arthritis? That's why we founded Pregenerate, and here's how we can help.
Hello, my name is Lisa. I'm co-founder of Prewave. At PreWave, we develop a technology that detects and predicts risks in supply chains using machine learning based on social media and news data in more than 50 languages. We are a spin-off of the Technical University in Vienna, and we are coming out of the TU Wien Innovation Incubation Center.
Hi, we're Julia and Manuel from Probando. Did you know 9 out of 10 studies fail to meet their recruitment goals due to the lack of participants? That is why we have developed Probando, the platform where every researcher can offer studies, product tests, and surveys to everyone. Through our service, we help society and provide a social value. We're convinced that many people want to participate in studies. Through us, they get an exclusive access, can significantly improve the life situation, and even earn some extra money. We are Probando, the home for studies.
Hi, my name is Evelyn Haslinger. I'm COO and co-founder of the software testing startup Simflower. At Simflower, we teach algorithms how to read and understand program code. Moreover, we teach them how to do software testing to find mistakes such as program crashes and security issues on their own. As a result, you can enjoy bug-free software in your everyday life. I'm really looking forward to meeting you at Entrepreneurship Avenue.
Hi, my name is Tibor and I'm the founder and CEO of Tremitas GmbH. 10 years ago, I had the idea to invent a smart pen to track tremors of patients with tremor diseases. Now, Tremitas GmbH is an internationally operating medical device company. If you want to know more about startups in the healthcare sector and how it all started at the Carinthia University of Applied Sciences, then I'm looking forward to chatting with you in the breakout rooms.
We are going to change the clothing industry by giving consumers what they want. Endless fashion variety. For a little money. Without environmental consequences. So, how can you become part of the fashion revolution? Upload your unused clothes to your virtual wardrobe. Ready to go. Simply swipe left if you don't like an item and right if you like it. A mutual like creates a fit, and you can arrange the swap in the chat.
Hi, I am Melanie and one of the 2 founders of UNIpreneurship. Our business idea: we offer great wine from different wineries across the country in quarter bottles. And why? Because we think there are many moments when 2 glasses of a good wine is the perfect amount. You want to learn more about us? I'm glad to meet you later in our room. Cheers!
Subways help reduce CO2 emissions considerably, and yet the air quality in the stations often is many times worse than in road traffic. This is why we thought we want to change the world with Moss.
For our pilot project with the Viennese Metro, we designed a prototype Moss panel that will help to filter indoor air pollution. Green and sustainable.
At AeroSquare, we are convinced that together we can shape urban living spaces in a sustainable way.
Hello, my name is Bernhard Lehlenbacher and I'm the founder of Park Insulation. We develop products made out of the renewable raw material tree bark. And our newest product is a sustainable cooling box. So, see you. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Christian Hill and I'm a biophysicist. Together with Gerhard Proslinger and a cool team, we founded Brave Analytics, a spin-off from the Medical University of Graz. Brave Analytics is a deep tech startup using biophotonics and microfluidics with the goal to produce nanoparticle sensors operating continuously and in real time. And there it is, our B1 Brave sensor. If you want to know more about our adventures, stay tuned. We're looking forward to talking to you. Cheers!
Hi, my name is Eric Weiss and I am an IMC alumni. I already founded 2 startups. My first one in 2017, which was sold at the end of 2020. And now I'm on my newest mission with Circly. And with Circly, we are developing AI solutions for FMCG retailers and logistic companies. So if you want to know more about my journey or my companies, feel free to hop in my breakout session. See you there.
Hi, my name is Christoph and I'm one of the founders of the startup EET. And we here at EET, we sell photovoltaic solutions with and without storage via our own online shop. We are absolutely convinced that e-commerce is the future, urbanization is the future, and how we are tackling these trends, these innovations for the next 10 years will be part of my presentation during the next event. Looking forward to see you.
Hello everybody, I'm Guido Gualdoni, CEO and co-founder of GST Antivirals, a spin-off company of the Medical University of Vienna, founded in 2019. We're dedicated to the treatment of viral infections and are currently located at the Vienna Biocenter. Founding a startup company was challenging on so many levels to me, and I'm very excited to share my experience with the next generation of founders here at the Entrepreneurship Avenue.
Hi, my name is Philip. I'm the co-founder of HelpSole, and HelpSole is a smart shoe inlay that detects gait disorders with several sensors and artificial intelligence, and due to tactile stimulation, we are helping patients to overcome gait disorders. I would love to get to know you. Please just visit us in our rooms. See you there.
Hi guys, I'm very happy to meet you at this year's Avenue, and I represent Kärntech. So we are a company which upcycles stone fruit pits from apricot or plums and transform them through our technology to high quality products. This could be in the non-dairy sector, in chocolate creams, or in new healthy fats for oil and cosmetic. So the raw material is a new innovation in the food and beverage industry. I hope to see you there.
Living Farms finds atypical solutions for typical problems like food waste and unsustainable protein production. We incorporate the knowledge of engineers, entomologists, biologists, and sustainable development, combining the power of insects and ingenious technology to turn low-value material into high-quality proteins, fats, and fertilizers. Living Farms is feeding the world while saving the planet. Today, not tomorrow.
Hello together. My name is Christian. I graduated with a bachelor's degree from FH Steyr in 2013, and I'm CEO and co-founder of Maptivity. In May 2020, my partner Harald and I founded Maptivity. Maptivity is a platform for leisure activities and is designed to enable users to organize their free time quick, easy, and customized. In April 2021, we will launch the redesigned website, including new functions and data. I'm really looking forward to interesting conversations and many questions from your side at the Kickoff event. Have a nice day.
Hi everyone, I'm Kwang, Product Manager at Mathmania. With the Mathmania app, we bridge the gap between real-life jobs and school math. A 3-headed team creates exercises with real companies who use math in their daily life. We enable them to present themselves as employers, so students can find a dream job and learn for the math exams at the same time. Currently, we are developing our MVP and are also looking for industry partners who are interested in presenting themselves within the Mathmania app. My colleague Alex and I are looking forward to talking to you.
Hi, my name is Nicholas, and together with Barbara I founded Mybioma. We analyzed the genetic information of the gut bacteria to detect diseases early on and improve the success rate of medical therapies. Last year, we got ISO certified and are the first company now in the microbiome field allowed to produce medical diagnostics. If you want to find out more about how bacteria influence our health and the technical and regulatory challenges we had to overcome, feel free to join our breakout session.
Welcome to the Entrepreneurship Avenue. My name is Mark Dürkop. I'm co-founder and CEO of Novasan GmbH. We're a young spin-off from Book University, focusing on to speed up bioprocess development. That means we're supporting biopharmaceutical customers to faster set up their processes to bring life-saving drugs, such as, for example, the COVID-19 vaccines, to the market. If you're interested to learn more about our story, I'd be happy to welcome you in the breakout session. Enjoy your trip on the Avenue and see you later.
Did you know 1 in 2 people will suffer from knee arthritis? That's why we founded Pregenerate, and here's how we can help.
Hello, my name is Lisa. I'm co-founder of PreWave. At PreWave, we develop a technology that detects and predicts risks in supply chains using machine learning based on social media and news data in more than 50 languages. We are a spin-off of the Technical University in Vienna, and we are coming out of the TU Wien Innovation Incubation Center.
Hi, we're Julian Manuel from Probando. Did you know 9 out of 10 studies fail to meet their recruitment goals due to the lack of participants? That is why we have developed Probando, the platform where every researcher can offer studies, product tests, and surveys to everyone. Through our service, we help society and provide a social value. We're convinced that many people want to participate in studies. Through us, they get an exclusive access, can significantly improve the life situation, and even earn some extra money. We are Probando, the home for studies.
Hi, my name is Evelyn Haslinger. I'm COO and co-founder of the software testing startup Simflower. At Simflower, we teach algorithms how to read and understand program code. Moreover, we teach them how to do software testing to find mistakes such as program crashes and security issues on their own. As a result, you can enjoy bug-free software in your everyday life. I'm really looking forward to meeting you at Entrepreneurship Avenue.
Hi, my name is Tibor and I'm the founder and CEO of Tremitas GmbH. 10 years ago, I had the idea to invent a smart pen to track tremors of patients with tremor diseases. Now, Tremitas GmbH is an internationally operating medical device company. If you want to know more about startups in the healthcare sector and how it all started at the Carinthia University of Applied Sciences, then I'm looking forward to chatting with you in the breakout rooms.
We are going to change the clothing industry by giving consumers what they want. Endless fashion variety. For a little money. Without environmental consequences. So, how can you become part of the fashion revolution? Upload your unused clothes to your virtual wardrobe. Ready to go. Simply swipe left if you don't like an item and right if you like it. A mutual like creates a fit and you can arrange the swap in the chat.
Hi, I am Melanie and one of the 2 founders of UNIpreneurship. Our business idea: we offer great wine from different wineries across the country in quarter bottles. And why? Because we think there are many moments when 2 glasses of a good wine is the perfect amount. You want to learn more about us? I'm glad to meet you later in our room. Cheers!
Subways help reduce CO2 emissions considerably, And yet, the air quality in the stations often is many times worse than in road traffic. This is why we thought we want to change the world with Moss.
For our pilot project with the Viennese Metro, we designed a prototype Moss panel that will help to filter indoor air pollution. Green and sustainable.
At AeroSquare, we are convinced that together we can shape urban living spaces in a sustainable way.
Hello, my name is Bernhard Lehlenbacher and I'm the founder of Park Insulation. We develop products made out of the renewable raw material tree bark. And our newest product is a sustainable cooling box. So, see you. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Christian Hill and I'm a biophysicist. Together with Gerhard Proslinger and a cool team, we founded Brave Analytics, a spin-off from the Medical University of Graz. Brave Analytics is a deep tech startup using biophotonics and microfluidics with the goal to produce nanoparticle sensors operating continuously and in real time. And there it is, our B1 Brave sensor. If you want to know more about our adventures, stay tuned. We're looking forward to talking to you. Cheers!
Hi, my name is Eric Weiss and I am an IMC alumni. I already founded 2 startups. My first one in 2017, which was sold at the end of 2020. And now I'm on my newest mission with Circly. And with Circly, we are developing AI solutions for FMCG retailers and logistic companies. So if you want to know more about my journey or my companies, feel free to hop in my breakout session. See you there.
Hi, my name is Christoph and I'm one of the founders of the startup EET. And we here at EET, we sell photovoltaic solutions with and without storage via our own online shop. We are absolutely convinced that e-commerce is the future, urbanization is the future, and how we are tackling these trends, these innovations for the next 10 years will be part of my presentation during the next event. Looking forward to see you.
Hello everybody, I'm Guido Gualdoni, CEO and co-founder of GST Antivirals, a spin-off company of the Medical University of Vienna, founded in 2019. We're dedicated to the treatment of viral infections and are currently located at the Vienna Biocenter. Founding a startup company was challenging on so many levels to me, and I'm very excited to share my experience with the next generation of founders here at the Entrepreneurship Avenue.
Hi, my name is Philip. I'm the co-founder of HelpSole, and HelpSole is a smart shoe inlay that detects gait disorders with several sensors and artificial intelligence, and due to tactile stimulation, we are helping patients to overcome gait disorders. I would love to get to know you. Please just visit us in our rooms. See you there.
Hi guys, I'm very happy to meet you at this year's Avenue and I represent Tech. So we are a company which upcycles stone fruit pits from apricot or plums and transform them through our technology to high quality products. These could be in the non-dairy sector, in chocolate creams or in new healthy fats for oil and cosmetic. So the raw material is a new innovation in the food and beverage industry. I hope to see you there.
Living Farms finds atypical solutions for typical problems like food waste and unsustainable protein production. We incorporate the knowledge of engineers, entomologists, biologists, and sustainable development, combining the power of insects and ingenious technology to turn low-value material into high-quality proteins, fats, and fertilizers. Living Farms is feeding the world while saving the planet. Today, not tomorrow.
Hello together. My name is Christian. I graduated with a bachelor's degree from FH Steyr in 2013, and I'm CEO and co-founder of Maptivity. In May 2020, my partner Harald and I founded Maptivity. Maptivity is a platform for leisure activities and is designed to enable users to organize their free time quick, easy and customized. In April 2021, we will launch the redesigned website, including new functions and data. I'm really looking forward to interesting conversations and many questions from your side at the Kickoff event. Have a nice day.
Hi everyone, I'm Huang, Product Manager at Mathmania. With the Mathmania app, we bridge the gap between real-life jobs and school math. A three-headed team creates exercises with real companies who use math in their daily life. We enable them to present themselves as employers, so students can find a dream job and learn for the math exams at the same time. Currently, we are developing our MVP and are also looking for industry partners who are interested in presenting themselves within the Mathmania app. My colleague Alex and I are looking forward to talking to you.
And welcome back, everybody. I really hope that you guys enjoyed entering into those different rooms and learning a bit about all the different startups. After resolving a few connection issues on my side, I managed to enter into the Mathmania room, and I learned a little bit about how those guys are approaching a lot of different problems. I mean, for example, they were talking about how their customers and their users are different because they're creating content for students, and sometimes, you know, you've got different customers versus your users, and it's just really interesting to get insights about how they're dealing with that. And I also popped into a few other rooms under a pseudonym. No one saw me there. And I got some awesome insights, and it's just really cool to see you guys chatting, to see you guys asking questions, to see you guys getting inspired and learning along the way. So super stoked to see that we've got some collaboration going on, because that's what the whole point of Entrepreneurship Avenue is. So now it's time for you guys to sit back after all that active engagement and listen to our fireside chat with Alex, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Kaleido AI. And the conversation is going to be with Rudolf, the ECN Director, whom you guys met earlier at the beginning of today's event. So I'm personally really excited. I think I've already said this, but I'm going to say it again. This is a super cool company, guys. Kaleido AI is one of the leading companies when it comes to visual AI in the entire world. They've got tools like remove.bg and unscreen.com, and they're helping more than 20 million users per month to accelerate their video and photo workflows. So really, they're out there and they're helping a lot of people. And they actually recently went down in Austrian startup history as one of the biggest acquisitions when they were bought by Canva.com. So super exciting. This is like a big boy company. We're really amped to have them with us. So I won't keep you guys waiting any longer. I'm going to welcome, and thanks to Alex for joining us. Off to Alex and Rudolf. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, James. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Rudolf.
How are you tonight?
I'm very good. Thank you.
Yeah. So thanks for being with us today. As James already mentioned, like 2 months ago, when you announced the sale to Canva, I think it was like an incredible wave throughout the whole Austrian entrepreneurship ecosystem. So we are really happy and proud to have you with us tonight, to have an opportunity to talk about your experiences, how the whole transaction went down. But we will come to that later, because Entrepreneurship Avenue is about, you know, making personal choices, individual choices, finding out whether the entrepreneurial path is something one wants to pursue. So I found out that your personal life and your career so far has been quite impressive and really interesting. So I'd like to go back, let's say, summer of 2012. You started your studies at WU Vienna. Has becoming an entrepreneur always a big dream to you? So has this always been your life dream?
Definitely not. I think it's something that developed over time, just by finding out what I have joy in, what I like doing. Back in university, I realized quite quickly that just doing the normal courses and sort of having to learn everything, and then, as we said in Austrian, sometimes cuts it out for the final exams, wasn't really what I liked doing. I enjoyed much more the courses where you had to work with complex problems, had to work with a team to find a solution, and in the end make a lot of learnings along the way. And during that time, I also joined a organization called ICANS. It's a students organization where students basically consult all sorts of companies in all kinds of areas, from marketing to HR to whatever it may be. And that's where I kind of realized that I really enjoyed working in an entrepreneurial way.
Okay, so extracurricular activities like this ICANS student consulting. It sounds like you had the opportunity to actually do a major in entrepreneurship when you're talking about application courses, I believe. Did you also get some kind of a benchmark how the corporate life could be?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was towards the mid of my bachelor's where I did a internship at a big German corporate company called BASF. And there, the internship turned into a longer working student relationship, so I ended up being there for 8 or 9 months. And at the end of those 9 months, I realized, well, what did I actually do over the last 3/4 of a year? And I realized that all that I did was working on a presentation that by that time had like 500 slides, and we were still trying to figure out how to...
An expert in PowerPoint.
Yes, I was definitely an expert at PowerPoint by that time, but yeah, I didn't do much more than that. It was an interesting project. It was in the area of innovation. It was a go-to-market thing, so it had something to do with tech and entrepreneurship as well, in some sense. But yeah, it was very theoretical. There was no...
Too far away from implementation.
Yes, there's zero implementation.
Okay, so when you finished your studies, I guess that was in June 2015. What was your choice to be able to pursue some kind of a more entrepreneurial path?
Mm-hmm. Actually, at the time, my plan was still to maybe go into consulting, because that's what I saw at ICANS that a lot of people did, and sort of the easy path after university, if you had somewhat good grades, to go down that route. But I wanted to get out of Europe. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to do something else. And through ICANS, I met somebody called Max Scheichenast, who I admired at the time. He was one of the founders of a company that was later sold to Google. And he was kind of a legend within ICANS. And I met him and I was like, dude, I really want to learn from you. Whatever you do next, I want to be part of it. And he was like, well, yeah, send me your CV, let's talk. And then we figured out that he was going to start a company in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. And he basically asked me, hey, do you want to join? And yeah, 6 months later, I was on a plane and went to Kuala Lumpur. Worked in that company for half a year as an internship, and the internship ended up becoming 2 years almost.
Speaking of internships, like you told us, you did an internship with a corporate, and now you're doing an internship with a startup company. Can you compare those two experiences?
Yeah, I mean, on the corporate side, it was very theoretical, as we said. The internship at Falcon Agency in Kuala Lumpur was the complete opposite from that. I think my first assignment after 1 week was already to kind of create a strategy for a new product, which was then also implemented just a couple of weeks later. I had to take over all the finances of the company after 2 weeks. I had to also do basic things like buying coffee for the office and buying toilet paper. So I think that was the awesome thing, that I had to do everything from the range.
From buying toilet paper to working on the strategy.
Yes.
Sounds like
yeah.
Cool. So eventually, like ending your time in Malaysia. So I think it was late 2016. You eventually co-founded your own venture, Accordium. But interestingly, you didn't found it in Malaysia. You didn't found it in Vienna, where you come from, but rather in Copenhagen. How come?
Very simply because I started it with my good friend Andrew, whom I met in Kuala Lumpur, and he was Danish. He was one of the first employees at Trustpilot in Denmark, also pretty almost unicorn, I think, Danish company now. And he had very good relationships to VCs and also the C-level of Trustpilot. And it was kind of the obvious choice for us to start the company in Denmark, where he already had that network, and it helped us kickstart in the beginning.
Okay. And I learned from your LinkedIn profile that you raised 1.3 million euros with Accordium, but still you closed down the company in January, February 2020 after 3.5 years. So 1.3 million, 3.5 years of hard work, a lot of passion, I believe. How difficult was it for you to realize that your startup had no more future?
I think the hardest part is to realize that you failed or that you're about to fail. I think that's what kind of it's really hard to identify, and probably we could have stopped already half a year or a year sooner. But at some point, you just realize that you can't get even more money from even more investors to try to turn it around. So I think just sitting down and be honest to yourself and realizing that things are not going the way that you planned them to go is the hardest part, especially because you always read that entrepreneurship is about failing numerous times. Perseverance, like the story of Slack, that were a no-name company for I think 7 years before they really made it big. So I think just realizing it is the hardest part.
Realizing, yes, there's some kind of, I don't know, intelligence or data or empirical data that you use to find out that you're not on the right track anymore.
No, not very empirical. It was more that at some point I said to myself, okay, if we can't turn it around in 6 months, then I'm gonna make a cut for myself and try to do something else. And after those 6 months, we hadn't gone anywhere, and that's when I then made the cut for myself.
How many employees did you have back then?
We had, I think at the peak, 13 employees.
Okay. I guess there was quite a lesson that gave you to being forced to sack people, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, before sacking people, of course, we stopped paying ourselves salaries, I think, for 6 or 7 months. And only at the point where we really couldn't do it any further, and also didn't want to put our employees at risk and give them some leadway to know that, okay, you get 2 or 3, whatever, salaries before things end. I think it was important to us to calculate that in as well.
Okay. So now it's February 2020. You have just closed your startup and moved back to Vienna. There might be some people who would put their heads into the sand, but not Alex. So what happened next when you returned to Vienna?
Well, I think first there is definitely a period of putting the head into the sand. I think that's human, but you have to keep that period as short as possible. I think I had 2 or 3 weeks where I was struggling and didn't really know what's going to happen next. My biggest fear was, since Austria is still a bit conservative with these kind of things, that what if there's no company that wants to take me on board as an employee after you failed so big? And the good thing is I learned that is not the case in Austria, and that things have changed in the last few years. And that even if you failed, but at least you tried, you have learned a lot, and companies are willing to see that. After that short period of putting the head into the sand, I went out, tried to speak to as many people as possible. Luckily, that was a few weeks before COVID really happened, so definitely that helped that it wasn't the lockdown yet. I spoke to as many people that I still knew from my network, from Icons and UNIpreneurship Club and all these different networks that I used to be part of. Just speak to people, and then very quickly lots of opportunities opened up, and that's where I saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and I knew, okay, there's something else gonna come from this.
Okay, so there were quite some opportunities for you. Lucky for you. Why did you pick this one opportunity? A company like 5 staff a year ago. So why did you join forces with Kaleido?
Yeah. Big shout out to my friend Patrick, who basically told me, dude, please take this opportunity. He was at the board of Kaleido at the time, and he said, please don't ask too many questions, just do it. You will not regret it. At the time, I didn't really understand how Kaleido could really become a huge company with just removing backgrounds from images or just removing backgrounds from videos. But after meeting Benjamin and David, the 2 co-founders of Kaleido, I realized what brilliant minds they are and what ambitions they have, had and have. I knew this is the right rocket ship to join, so to speak.
Okay, so could you tell us a little bit about the background and the history of Kaleido, how it all started, who's behind Kaleido?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kaleido, the idea really started, I think, in 2015 already, when Benjamin and David, who met each other at TU Wien, kind of were friends, and they always worked on fun projects on the side. And one of the projects that they worked on was Wurstify, which was a Chrome extension that actually puts Conchita Wurst's beards on all faces of all websites. And that thing was a joke project in a way, but it completely blew up. All Austrian media sites wrote about it, and it very quickly had more than 100,000 downloads in a couple of weeks. And that's when they realized, okay, there's something we can do with visual AI. And that sort of kickstarted the whole project. Of course, there were lots of iterations before they ended up on removing backgrounds specifically. But towards 2017, that's what they focused on. And then from 2017 to end of 2018, they were building the prototype of RemoveBG, the image background remover. It was then launched shortly after Christmas in 2018. And within, I think, 1 or 2 weeks, they had more than 1 million downloads. It completely blew up. It was absolutely crazy. They didn't even have a company at that time. They didn't have a proper pricing model for it. There was nothing. It was just a product and a very simple use case. But apparently a lot of people needed that solution. So then in rocket speed time, they kind of founded the company, I think early in January 2019. And then from there on, it was just a complete success story. Growing 3 digits in the first year, hitting 1 million ARR already in the first year. And the crazy thing about all of that is that they did it with zero external investments, all from cash flow and just having a great idea.
That sounds pretty cool. So what's like Benjamin and David's obviously 2 tech wizards, starting this great company and doing very well with this company. And then there's you. You joined them a year ago. What do you think changed for Benjamin and David, and what changed for Kaleido when you started there?
Mm-hmm. I think what changed a little bit was that for Benjamin and David, having founded the company and building it up from scratch, there were lots of things that they just did the way they did it because that's how they started doing it. So there was nobody who kind of challenged the status quo and tried to maybe zoom out a little bit and see other opportunities. And I guess kind of, broken down, that's what in the end I brought to the table to give a little bit of a bit different perspective. And also kind of lay the foundation to hiring more people, making sure that we have a proper reporting system, not in a corporate way, but in a startup smart way.
The funny stuff.
Yeah. Making sure that we have simple things like make sure we have a weekly stand-up, make sure we have every 3 months a quarterly session all together to think about the future. All these things weren't in place at the time. So to zoom out a little bit and think about a bigger picture, I think that's what brought to the table a little bit.
And rumor has it that as soon that you started there, that Canva knocked at your door. Is that right, or is that just a rumor?
No, that's a rumor, and no, that would not be fair to Benjamin and David at all. I think they are the masterminds behind all of this. No, Canva.
Please tell us the story.
Yeah, Canva came to the table as a customer, actually. So Canva, for those who don't know, is one of the fastest growing startups in the world at the moment. They are a design platform where you can design anything. So any user can go to the website and design a presentation, a gift card, whatever it is. And Canva started as a customer of ours in early 2020 or late 2019, enterprise customer. And we kind of grew with them together. And the fun thing was that we charged them on a per image basis. And without going into too much details, but very soon we were talking about double-digit million images per month that they processed through our system. And at some point, they basically knocked at our doors and said, "Hey, guys, this is getting a little bit too expensive for us. We need to find a different solution." And the first solution that they came up with was that we need to renegotiate our pricing. We need to find a flat fee or something. So we negotiated back and forth, and at some point, they just stopped negotiating. And we were a bit scared because we knew Canva was working on a similar solution at the time and might replace us. But in fact, they stopped negotiating because the next thing that they offered was to actually acquire us.
Wow. And what changed ever since they are aboard?
Lots of things changed. I mean, in some ways, we've become more professional in a way. We have to be more compliant with many things. We have to have higher security standards, all these sort of things. But what also changed is that money is not such a big factor anymore. We don't have to look at our cash flow. We don't have to look at revenue numbers. We can really focus on creating value for a lot of users. And not just the 20 million Remove PG and Unscreen users, but the more than 50 million users that Canva has.
Sounds like a great fit.
Yeah, it was, which is also why it happened very quickly.
Great. I suggest we stop it here because I believe there might be some questions. Recommendations for the people listening to you, students curious to find out about whether entrepreneurship is the thing that they should do. Any recommendations for them on how to tackle that?
I think if they are listening to this, then they're probably already very much on the right track to finding out if it's something for them or not. I think sometimes entrepreneurship is quite glorified in the last few years, at least, where it's like the new hip, cool thing. And I think people also need to be honest to themselves that startups and entrepreneurship is not for everyone. And I don't say this as an arrogant way that only the best can do it. Quite the opposite. It has a lot of disadvantages, and it is definitely not for everyone. So I think trying things out, doing projects like Entrepreneurship Avenue, going to student organizations where you maybe have to organize an event or where you have to, I don't know, maybe start a small e-commerce shop on your own. There's lots of things that you can just do by yourself and just see if it's something that you want to do. And just don't only use the fast track or easy track of going into banking or corporate or consulting. Try something else maybe.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys for that really insightful conversation. We're going to take some questions from our audience that we've had sent through. So one of the questions, and I think you kind of discussed that, so I'm going to combine some of the questions that we've had. One of the questions, what's some of the advice that you would give to someone who wants to start a company? And I'm going to add to that, how do you, when starting a company and being involved in a startup in general, where things are moving so quickly, how do you stay motivated when the going really gets tough? And how do you prevent yourself from a burnout? So it's kind of like a personal question. What do you do to keep yourself going?
Great questions. The first one, advice I would give for somebody who's starting out. don't overcomplicate it. Don't try to make it perfect, but rather test your ideas as quickly as possible. If you can test it with a simple Google form, or if you can test it with a out-of-the-box app solution that you can just plug and play or like drag and drop together, it doesn't have to look good. It just has to work. Test your idea. And only if it works, invest more money or time into it. And that's actually one mistake that I think we made at Accordium. Get out of the building. Yeah, is that we kind of, we tried to make everything so perfect that we lost track of what our users actually wanted. And then at some point we had spent so much time, money into building something that actually nobody needed. So yeah, test as quickly as possible. The second question in regards to mental health, which I think is a very important topic and often overlooked, especially in startups. I think there's no blueprint answer. I think everybody needs to find out for themselves how to deal with it. The most important thing is focus. That in your question. What I usually do is at the beginning of a month, I write down what the 2, 3, maybe 4 things are that are most important that I really want to get done in that month, and try to break it down in 2 weeks as well. And that helps me to block out any noise that comes my way. So if there's like certain weeks where lots of things get thrown at me, and you quickly get into the mode of just trying to fix or extinguish all the fires. And there it's important to kind of, zoom out again and think, is this really the thing that I need to focus on, or is it not? And if it is not, better to delegate it to someone else. And that helps you to be mindful of the time that you have available during a day.
Fantastic. I like that. Thinking about the bigger picture and seeing what's important and what's not important. That really resonates with me and something I often have to remind myself about. So another question that we got from the audience, someone's interested in the AI space. Do you have any suggestion areas for AI? Where do you see a lot of potential? And I think that's a great question because AI is obviously a buzzword right now. There are so many use cases for AI. Some of them will work, some of them won't. So where would you say that people interested in AI should be focusing?
That's a difficult one. I'm not an AI expert, I must admit. And AI is definitely a buzzword that's used a lot lately. And oftentimes it's not really AI, but it's actually statistics. AI, I think in the health space, there's still a lot of potential for AI that is not being used to its fullest potential. Logistics space, I think there's lots of areas where it could be applied. Pretty much anywhere where you can utilize large sets of data and automate work. I think that's the biggest areas. But where to find that, again, do internships, work in companies that work in an area that you're interested in. #we are hiring, and learn from how things are being done there, and then hopefully you will have your own idea on the way, and then do it yourself.
Thank you for that. Then you mentioned that Kaleido AI started without any external funding. So this is a question from the audience. Do you think that there is any reason for a software company to take funding from external sources, or do you think it's better to grow, on your own? How do you think that decision should be approached?
It's a tough one. I've been on both sides. With Accordium, we raised too much money. With Kaleido, we raised no money at all. I think the important part is to not raise money for the sake of raising money because it's cool or because you can tell your parents about it, but because you actually need it and because you actually are ready for taking funding. How do you know if you're ready? Well, usually you should see some sign of some empirical sign of growth or any kind of proof that you can show, okay, this is actually working or people are actually interested in this. And if you see those signs, then it's probably a good idea to get funding on board. But if you don't need it, don't do it. There's no reason to get investors on board if you don't need the money. And for example, with Kaleido, since we didn't have the need for external funding. We took a different route, which was to work with i5 Invest. They are more like a consultant that sits on the board and helps you as a sparring partner, but they don't take any equity and they don't invest money. So that's also a different way to get the good sides of funding, which is know-how and network and these kind of things.
And then I think as a nice final question, what is it exactly that you love the most about working in a startup like Kaleido AI? What is it that gets you waking up in the morning when you're on your way, well, virtually to work these days?
For me, it's always been a lot about people. Just being in a room with smart people that are always smarter than me, and kind of learning from them and seeing how they come up with creative ideas and try to empower them to realize those ideas. That's what brings me the most joy. I'm definitely not the most creative, so it's always fun for me to be in those environments and not being the one with the ideas, but to actually empower others to do that. That's what I enjoy the most.
Thank you so much for that wonderful conversation, Alex. Thank you, Rudolf, for your moderation there. It was really fantastic. I've learned a lot. I'm learning so much today, and I hope you guys are learning a lot too. So now we're reaching the end of the event, and it's time to slowly start wrapping up. So I've got some really important things that I need you to remind you guys about, and I'm talking to the people who want to participate in the Entrepreneurship Avenue competition. You are more than welcome to, continue to join these sessions and watch and learn along the way, particularly in the final pitch day. We are encouraging everybody to come and watch. But now I'm talking to the people who want to participate in the competition. So if you signed up for the kickoff, you will have received a registration link for the lab series, right? And you can use that registration to sign up for lab 1. Remember that lab 1 is where you come with your idea, or you come because you have skills and a keenness to get involved in entrepreneurship. So if you're one of those people and you want to get involved in this, you need to register. So again, you should have received an email if you signed up for this kickoff. And if you joined the kickoff without signing up via a link or something like that, then you can just go to our website and check out the labs tab, and you'll be able to sign up for that lab. Now, it's really important. This part's really important. So this is for the business idea people, okay? If you have a business idea, we need you to prepare a short 30-second video explaining your idea as soon as possible, okay? The team are waiting for you guys to submit your videos, and then we're going to be uploading those onto the website as soon as we can. So we need you guys to do that within the next 4 days. Now, we'll be sending out a link, right? A video upload link as soon as you've registered for the labs. And that's where that's the link you guys can use to upload. Right? Doesn't have to be anything fancy, doesn't have to be crazy, just your idea, plain and simple. And I just want to repeat, if you're feeling intimidated, if you're feeling that this whole thing is a bit scary, calm down and relax, right? This is a safe space. This is a place for you guys to collaborate, for you guys to learn, for you guys to shape yourselves as future entrepreneurs, right? And this is geared towards students who have no experience in entrepreneurship. So don't get intimidated by the idea that you have to set up a video. You just think about your idea and think about how you can speak about it in the most concise, straight to the point way, 30 seconds, right? Submit that video and we'll get that going. Then if you have an idea, that's great. But if you don't have an idea and you're keen to get involved, that's also great, okay? Those without ideas just need to show up to lab 1. So just make sure that you've registered for the lab and that you show up a week from today. All right. So now I'm going to hand over to Florian and Katja, who are the head organizers of this entire event. I must tell you guys, these guys have been sweating, right, for weeks and weeks and weeks, a lot of sleepless nights, and I think they're really excited to just tell you guys how much fun it's been along the way and how happy they are to have you guys here. So I'll hand over to them now.
Yes, thank you, James, and thank you all our viewers for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the event. I hope you enjoyed the speeches and also chatting with the startups that we presented in the booths. But most of all today, I actually would like to join our organizing team. It's been definitely a challenge. Like the slogan of our avenue this year is challenge, innovate, create. And I think we actually did all of it along the way up to this day. We got a challenge, we had to innovate a little bit, and we created this event that you guys got to see today. And also, I just want to mention that our team, I think, is the first digital team, so to say. So the Avenue organizing team has not seen each other in real life, like all together yet, only in some small groups. And today, unfortunately, we only have 7 people from the team here. But yeah, I know that our team is watching, so thank you all guys for your effort and work, and even more work is to come, but I hope it's going to be fun, enjoyable for both us and for the viewers and participants as well. And I guess I can hand over now to Florian.
Yeah, also a big thank you also from my side. Without you guys, it wouldn't have been possible the way it is right now. And also additionally, I would really like to thank our partners, especially A1 for giving us the space here, for having the opportunity to actually host the whole event, because otherwise we couldn't have done it. So a big shout out to all of them. And it has been a couple of very rough months, a lot of sleep deprivation, but nevertheless, it was totally worth it. And as long as you guys enjoyed it, we are happy about it. I am happy to have such a great team on board with all interesting and like really people that get things done. I really love and enjoy that. And with that, I really want to thank you guys once more and hand back to James.
Great stuff. Thank you guys. Again, Katja and Flo, you guys are awesome. You guys have put so much work into this and it's been really fantastic. And thank you guys for the opportunity. I've just been having so much fun myself. So Florian already did it, but I'm going to give just one more time a big shout out to our partners who make this whole thing possible and who are contributing to future business leaders. And again, big thank you to A1 who have given us this awesome space. I mean, you guys can't see it all, but it's a really, really cool space. And without the space, we would have been in a little bit of trouble. Also, a big thank you to the UNIpreneurship Showcase and all the startups that were involved there, as well as to the Entrepreneurship Center Network, who have been behind the Entrepreneurship Avenue the whole way. So, thank you guys for joining us tonight. By joining us tonight, you are already a part of the Entrepreneurship Avenue family, and we're a family that are eager to connect like-minded people in order to create collaboration and encourage and support one another's ideas. We are here to build with each other, to shape each other's futures. So we're really, really excited to see what you guys who are going to participate in this, we're really excited to see what you guys have, right? What ideas you have and how those ideas are going to shape along the way. So I'm just going to say it one more time, a big call to action, guys. Sign up for Lab 1. We want to see what you guys have to contribute, what ideas you guys have. And yeah, with that said, I wish you guys a wonderful evening. I wish you guys a power week. And thank you guys for joining us. Good night.